Okay, this episode I'm gonna go into how much you save by filling up your small little 1 pound propane tanks from the bigger tanks. These are called 30 pound. What you see on charcoal grills are usually considered 20 pound, and that's really the weight of the propane. It's not the overall weight of the tank. The tank weighs the TW rating, which is on these tanks, is stamped up on the top. Tare weight. Like this tank, tare weight, I don't know if it's going to show you, but it says TW tare weight is 23.4 pounds. That means when it's empty. Okay, now the other number on the top, WC, that's water, related to the water weight. If you fill this tank with water, and this is, like I say, this is a 30-pound tank, they call it, it would weigh 71.4 pounds. Okay, so all these things, even the date code, yeah, this one was 2017. All that information is stamped on the top of these, so you can determine. But like I say, I only had on this RV a 20-pound tank, just one 20-pound tank. So I bought a special housing holder tray, I guess you could call it, on the bottom here to hold 2 tanks. I took off the 20-pound, and because I do welding, I welded on this platform here to hold 2 30-pound tanks. So now I can be out boondock camping for 3 times longer. Okay, so that's really important. Then I got a double valve system, and what's nice about these is when this tank here, see, it's pointing to this side right now. Okay, if I go over like that, that means it's drawn from this tank. When I push it over this way, it draws from this tank. But when this tank empties, let's just say it's in the middle of the night and you have your furnace going or something, this type of valve will automatically switch over to your other tank, even though this is pointing towards this one. And you'll look inside and you'll see a green and a red. It turns red, that means this is pointing to this tank, this one's empty, and then you're just going to switch this over. Even though it automatically did it, switch it over to this one, and then you can close this off and fill this tank. So it's a really nice setup, and I made this special bracket for it to hold it in place. Bolted it right into the trailer, and then I put in this special gizmo to hold the tanks nice and steady, so that when you're driving down the road, they're not bouncing all over. And then I drilled a hole through here and put a padlock on it. So this way, nobody could grab these and pull them off or anything. That's all bolted in down there. So that also protects them from being stolen. Okay, so I'm going to go inside and go into how much you can save by using either 20-pound tanks or 30-pound tanks like I've got. The 30-pound tanks can take 7 gallons of propane, and the 20-pound tanks, the smaller ones you normally see on RVs or charcoal grills and stuff, they could take up to 5 gallons of propane. Okay, propane, like everything, is skyrocketing. This is June of 2022. Let me just go into the number crunching to show you how much money you can save by filling up these little 1-pound tanks to run your propane stove and your propane lanterns and catalytic heaters and all kinds of things, these little 1-pounders. Like I said, I'm in the Grand Canyon, and Walmart right now I think is charging about $5 for one of these. But like in certain areas like the Grand Canyon, I was in the store just a couple days ago, they wanted $12.50 for just 1 pound. This is just 1 pound of propane. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to. I did another video and it's already got 40,000 hits. Very popular. So if you go to Eagle Eric you click the eagle head and it brings you into my store my YouTube channel, I should say. It's not a store. And I've got almost 200 videos on camping and how to save money and stuff. So on the top, you just click playlists so you can narrow it down and not have to go through 200 videos. So you click playlists, then look in there on how to. There's a category called how to, and you'll see something about how to fill up these propane tanks. So in that one, I went into the how to fill them up. You're going to be using a $12 valve like this. That's all it is, 12 bucks. Okay, and then it's just this cap here. Okay, take that off. Okay, this is going to be that part. The brass part is going to be screwing in here, and this part here is your typical connection to your 20-pound or 30-pound tank. It's very simple. It's a one-way valve. I go in and describe everything, how to transfer from the big tanks to these little ones. Okay, I'm going to now explain, and I won't go into much of the math. This is all the math I did. It's simple math, but there's a lot of number crunching. Okay, 1 gallon of propane, I'll just go into quick pointers, and then I'll tell you how much you're going to save by filling up your own tanks. And I should add, I did mention, you know, if you fill these, there's nothing dangerous about filling these up. But the law says if you fill up one of these, you're not supposed to travel with them. So, you know, but everybody does. But there are tanks, this is just your standard tank. There are 1-pound tanks that are rated for, if you refill them, you can travel with them. These aren't. There's nothing to worry about. It's got this special pressure release valve here. If it builds up too much pressure, it's going to come out of here automatically. It's very safe. But just watch my other video. Like I said, it's got over 40,000 hits. A lot of people found it useful. Got a lot of good comments. So anyway, 1 pound of propane weighs 4.5 pounds. 1 gallon of propane weighs 4.5 pounds. So what does that mean? Well, my 30-pound tanks on the front can hold 7 gallons, for example. Okay, so if you multiply 7 gallons by 4.3 pounds, that comes out to 30 pounds. Why is that important? Because these are 1-pound tanks. So what that means is one of my 30-pound tanks in the front can fill up 30 of these. 30. Okay, now at the Walmart, let's just figure out the numbers, and then, you know, you only fill them up 80%. So instead of 30 of these, we're talking 24. Yeah, because you never fill up the 20 or 30-pound tanks all the way up to the top. They only fill them up about 80%. Okay, so let's say we can fill up 24 of these with either one of my tanks up front. I paid 30 bucks for one of those tanks up front to fill it up recently. And this year, the lowest I paid was 20 bucks. Okay, let's just make the numbers real simple here. At Walmart, they're charging $5 each on these. And if you can fill up 24 with the tank, one of my tanks up there, 24 times 5 is $120. Okay, I just paid $30 for that tank, one of those tanks up there. So my savings at Walmart, even Walmart prices, which is the cheapest I've seen, would be $90 savings. I could fill up 24 of these. If I just fill up the one big one and then transfer it over to this, I'd save $90. According to Grand Canyon, their store there, they were asking $12.50 each on these. At their prices, like I say, when you're out in the middle of nowhere, they start charging whatever they feel like. I've heard $8, $10. Now the highest I've seen is $12.50. Okay, times 24 is $300 to buy 24 of these in the Grand Canyon. Versus if I fill it up from my tank up front that I paid 30 bucks for, I would save $270 by just using this little $12 gizmo. hooking that up to the big tank, hooking that up to the small tank, I'd save $270. Go on Amazon, look for something like this. It's easy. It goes clockwise, both fittings, so you can't mess up. Some other fittings, this one you have to go counterclockwise, and that one clockwise. Just get this gizmo here. So, like I say, I did a lot of other math here about, you know, the WC mark and TW, tare weight, which relates to the empty tank, and how to convert things. You know, tanks are only filled up to 80%. You got to figure that in your math, and you got to figure out how many pounds, 7 gallons, in my case 7 gallons, how many pounds does that weigh? And it's about 30 pounds. But then you only, you're not filling it all the way up, so it's only 80% of that 30 pounds, and that's 24 pounds. So, you know, there's some, you know, there's other stuff in there. But the main thing of this video, like I said, the other video goes into how to fill them up and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Is there any dangers? Or Look at the other video for that. But this one, I just want to go into showing you Walmart prices. You're going to save $90, almost $100 by refilling these with your bigger 20 and 30 pound tanks. And when you get into the highway robbery, like they have going on here in the Grand Canyon, everything is more expensive. Gasoline's $1 a gallon more than just going an hour down to Flagstaff. $1 a gallon or more. Everything. Hotel rooms are $200 a day. Campsites, if you can reserve one, are $450 a week. I'm camping out in the National Forest, and it's free for 2 weeks. Instead of $900, if I went into the Grand Canyon, went into the RV park, and they line them up like a sardine can in there. So, you know, I saved almost $1,000 there. I just filled up 5 or 6 of these. And so, I mean, I just saved $270 versus Grand Canyon prices. You know, after I fill up 24 of those, I'll have saved almost $300 there. And food prices are crazy. Stock up on everything. If you're coming up to the Grand Canyon, stock up on gasoline. If you have gasoline cans, propane, fill up your tanks. Your food, stock up your freezer and refrigerator. I saw tiny little steaks, and they wanted $16 to $20, and they were small little steaks. You know, it was crazy. Everything was, I mean, mouthwash were like $6 instead of $2. You know, I mean, you're going to double, triple, pay higher, much higher. So your vacation could cost thousands of dollars more unless you're frugal like me, and just figure out how to camp for free, how to stock up your... I've got both a regular size refrigerator, and in the back I've got a freezer unit. I installed it's over 2.5 cubic foot freezer right here that I installed. I took out a door here. This was a closet. I took this door out, and I'm running this off of solar. Okay, there's my inverter. And that's connected to the battery bank, and the battery bank is connected to a charge controller right over there, and that's going to 600 watts on top of my travel trailer up top. Okay, anyway, believe it or not, this was only, I think, $200. Stainless steel freezer, gets to below zero. So I stocked up on chicken, pizza, hamburgers, you name it. I got tons. That's just freezer. Like I say, I think it was $220 by winter. And I did some videos on this too. The stainless steel. It's just 200 and some bucks. And it runs off of solar, so you know that's cool. Doesn't cost me anything to run it. So anyway, that's about it. Just to give you an idea how much money you can save using one of these. The other episode I showed is if there's any dangers. I go into that, and there isn't really, basically, because liquids can't be compressed So you can't overfill these and other things, but go and check the other video because I go into a lot more details on how to know if it's full or not. 80% full, because you always want a little airspace up here so the liquid can convert into a propane gas up here, which is what runs your stoves and everything else. It's the gas. So, okay. Hope you like that. This is Eagle Air, signing off.